Hello.
Yo, hey. Yeah, welcome. Slightly late start, but looks like already Humbug and PlasmaKappa are underway in Ambrosia, Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament. This is the round of 32. Humbug and PlasmaKappa both got through some pretty tough opponents to get here to race each other, and here we are. Yes, as we see, this is the first time. Ambrosia was like one out of the five possible modes. It only had one count for like everything, and somehow we were fortunate or unfortunate enough to roll this mode. So here we are.
Hey, we get to start with a sword, so how bad can it be, right? This must be a very great mode.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're seeing a pretty standard start here where I saw them both start at Link's house just to check what's there. I think it was rupees, if I remember correctly. And then they save and quit and went to Dark Sanctuary, and now they're doing like the standard Skyward's route to farm some bombs over here.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
hopefully some items too.
Yeah, it actually looks like you're right. So early resources in Ambrosia, as we've seen, is actually pretty important, right? Definitely much more weighted heavily in Ambrosia because we're starting in the Dark World. There are, kind of unlike Kakariko, like non-inverted, stuff. You can always, you can farm up a lot of stuff in the Light World, right? The game's kind of designed to give you a lot of early stuff to kind of help you out. Here, when we are just kind of thrown to the Dark World, it kind of already assumes you have a bunch of stuff in the Light World, normally. Not so much the case now because we didn't really have that, and so yeah, all of the stuff around Village of Outcasts, weaponry, dig game, chess game, all require some amount of resources. Hype Cave, right, for example, in order to even get in.
Yeah, and it's just kind of hard to come by with those resources, right? I don't know why Nintendo didn't put any easy resources in the Dark World, just in case you start there, but somehow they forgot. So now we have to go to Skyward of all things to find bombs.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, honestly, because speaking of unfortunate, we have already actually just found the fire rod here in the back of Hype Cave along with the glove, but actually, so suddenly, are we gonna go back and kill Mothula Gem on Fighter Sword and 3 Hearts?
For their sake, I hope not.
That's kind of suddenly that's kind of scary. Initially like Ambrosia or at least Inverted, right, has kind of reputation of, it actually can be pretty rough. I mean, even sometimes more so it can be exacerbated by maybe you get flippers, you have to go, get your pearl off of like Cold Stare or something, right? And you're on, super low health. The Mothula fight really isn't that much better. And it kind of made worse in the fact that, well, on the one hand, the positive side is you get a sword, right? So at least it's not so bad. The other side is now the sword lets you cut the curtain the back skull lets.
Yeah.
So,
it's a bit dangerous. And yeah, it looks like Kappa skipped the Biggie chest in Skyward, so he doesn't have the mids yet. Whereas Humbug, he got his first gloves there, and now he got his mids out of Hype Cave.
Oh yeah, actually that's a good observation as well. Yeah, so I guess, with the fire rod, I presume Kappa's gonna go back and get it. On the other hand, you're all the way back there, so I mean, is that a case of like, I guess I may as well go try and kill Mothula?
Maybe, and well, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, depending on whether he manages to beat the bug or not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, speaking of, 3 hearts, fighting all of these enemies that do at least 2 hearts of damage on every single hit. Not so much the most pleasant of experiences. It is probably the norm of experiences, but yeah. Another great reason why Inverted or Ambrosia is a very if you're gonna put 2 runners to play this mode, you should actually put probably something, in the lower, further side of the brackets, like top 32, top 16, etc. Because, these guys are more than seasoned to play it, and give them a little bit more of a challenge, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they're bored of all the other modes, so they're just itching to play Ambrosia every time.
Maybe that could be feedback for the main tournament next year, right? Forget about this whole like randomness card drawing, 5 mode thing. We'll just put Inverted, Inverted, Ambrosia, Inverted Keys, starting, like all of these, that'll just be the main tournament next year. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, very true. Let's do that. Don't forget the hot new mode Shadow Rush too.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
And-
right. Everything Dark World starts.
Mhm.
You think we'll get starting
Mhm.
boots out of curiosity?
I think
Hey,
that's
look, there's a
starting boots.
pearl.
Yeah. Hey, cool. So once Humbugh makes it to the village, he will have Darkwood access, whereas Kappa will. Well, I don't know what he can really do, but
Yeah.
I guess he at least has to make another trip into Skullwoods for what it's worth.
Yeah. Skullwoods is like the Death Mountain practice area. You know, Death Mountain and Inverted. You have to climb that thing like 10 times. You know, Skullwoods. You're probably like at least going back there 2 or 3 times. Like maybe the first time for resources. And for whatever other random stuff. In this case, Kappa's gonna go back for the back of Skullwoods as well. Maybe you have to go back for the 3rd time. Maybe if you don't want to beat Mothula, for example, on Fighter Sorted 3 hearts.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about what Kappa might do when he gets funneled into those mids, because he might just decide to go try beat Mothula there, and
Yeah.
if he beats Mothula, then all's good. But it's very easy to die, and yeah, he might take a death there, which would be unfortunate. But
Yeah. I was actually
of course, I have
so,
full
like,
faith that he would kill it.
so Kappa and humbugh are very seasoned runners, and obviously they're here. They've been around for a while. I believe they've also played a good share of extreme mystery PogChamp weights, so they certainly are very capable. This of course is probably one of those extreme situations where even the most experienced of runners may not be clamoring to go fight Mothula like on this type of equipment. But I also should ask you, like, so what would you do in this case if you were Kappa, or what do you think? Like in Kappa's position, you're gonna get funneled to your midst in the back of Skullwoods for the middle of the key chest, and then I don't know, you have the mirror. Like, would you just leave and just save Mothula for another time?
I don't know. It's like awkward because you now do have access to the bag, and there's also the bridge chest, which could have something. But at the same time, I guess you have lifeboat access, so maybe it's just way safer to leave.
And yeah, so right. Also, another feature of Ambrosia, not necessarily inverted, of Ambrosia is that so actually currently humbugh Kappa is about to die. Hopefully not. In the front of Skullwoods, that'd also be really sad. But yeah. So as another feature of of inverted Ambrosia is that we actually cannot finish Thieves Town, not necessarily because of lack of hammer per se, but it is a lack of big keys. They are shuffled in the wild somewhere, not necessarily guaranteed to be in their respective dungeons.
Yeah, unfortunately, Skullwoods doesn't require a big key to beat the dungeon, so...
Yes, that is, and of course with the discovery, I guess, or how, Ice Palace bomb jump, or Ice Cream, we don't have Smarring here yet, but, also turns out you also do not need the big key to beat Ice Palace, although maybe not necessarily recommended, for you to do so, especially if it's out of logic and you're trying to go kill Coldstone on this, but, it's possible, is what we're saying.
Yeah, Ice Palace at least has the additional requirement with the hammer that they have to at least find that before they might get baited into finishing it. But yeah, it looks like Kappa decided to leave Skullwoods, which I fully respect because Mothula on this equipment is not fun.
Yeah, nobody really wants to spend any extra time in Skullwoods anyway. We've there's not really too much value regardless. And and I guess like the nice thing about Mid's Dark Light World access, right? One of the nice things, especially, is that you have like the shortest distance possible from Skullwoods into the Light World. So.
Yeah. Why would you stay in Skullwoods when you can just get literally 500 items in Kakariko?
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to the 2 in the back of Skullwoods.
Yeah, speaking of though, we're actually getting some pretty nice haul. Speaking of, we already see humbugh is already a very blue Yoshi. I guess Kappa is also really blue, for that matter. Not necessarily pertain to the blue male that they both picked up, but I guess Kappa is purple, slightly more blue, something like that.
Yeah, it looks very blue, at least. Well, Desert, it's a pendant, so don't have to find the book, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, maybe. The flute would actually be quite useful in this situation. So normally, you know, the flute is a very high value item in non-inverted types of modes. Kind of nerfed a little bit in inverted just because it only works in the dark world. And however, though, given what we have currently, which is like the mirror and the mitts, suddenly the flute actually becomes a little bit nicer because now you actually have access to all of those myths, or I guess myth-locked light world, you know, / dark world portals. You know, like Flute Spot 6 now, can you actually get to the light world where like with the myths versus if you didn't have them, right? Like you would still have to, you know, like
walk all the way there.
Walk, exactly.
Yeah, there's also the additional like light world portal, I guess, at Ice Palace in this mode.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So that one's also a very nice entry point. So that's actually quite the interesting difference between inverted and regular modes, because in like normal mode, basically your only dark world entry point is like Village of Outcasts if you have mids, but in inverted you just get a bunch of different modes to entry the light world.
Yeah, what a great positive feature of inverted, Jeff. We have 2 viable light world access points immediately, as opposed to just the 1.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Yes, that's actually a new positive part of inverted that I actually not but until just now. So. All right, looks like those. So humbugh. Oh, you know, obviously we can see that these are very seasoned. Remembering this case that yes, like the Smith does exist. It's especially when you I think first started playing inverted modes. There are some gotchas, you know, that certainly can maybe trip up some newer runners because you forget that you can kind of do these things. The Smith is definitely one of them. That seems to be a pretty common pitfall for people.
Yeah, and not only did he remember that the Smith can be mirrored to, he also remembered where to mirror to get it. That's honestly just as impressive.
No, that's actually knowing where to mirror the light world. You know, especially at this point, you just kind of chalk up like 30 seconds basically to mirror bonks. You know, this is kind of like, you know, like the norm for expected. You know, when you're playing inverted modes.
Yeah, for sure. But humbugh is very experienced. He loved this mode, so he knew exactly where to mirror.
Yes. Oh, that's from the race room. It actually looked like Kappa was actually pretty. I don't know if he's necessarily excited. I don't know, you know, what the relative scale for people's appetite is for inverted, but he certainly does seem to be a bit more proficient or amicable to probably like the quote unquote like more less standard modes, I guess. Looks like we do have oh yeah, actually speaking of, so KFR Awesome Tracker has already marked up so much, including actually several big keys. Looks like we got a big key to Eastern, got a big key to Mire, and we also have a big key now to Swamp.
Yeah, and it looks like all the light world dungeons are pendants and all the dark world dungeons subsequently are crystals. That's pretty interesting. So what do you think? Moonpearl on pedestal?
Oh, let's not think about such things.
Yeah, and unfortunately not possible in this mode, and well, we also have found it, so yeah.
No, that's also true. Yeah, we are walking around quite a bit in the light world. It's like, oh, all right. So yeah, so another one of the differences humbugh is actually going to show us is so while we don't have the book necessarily, we can't actually get into desert. But in this case, Agina is not the only quote unquote value, I guess, of this area. It is we're actually going to see in this case there is Checkerboard Cave as well, just kind of available for us. I don't know if humbugh wants to go scout the ledge. Maybe.
Oh, he will want to do that because since he has the mirror, he will also want to check Maya Shed while he's here.
Oh, that's such a see. Jemin, it's almost as if you also enjoy playing inverted. Is that true?
Yeah, I love this mode. Hey, look.
Yeah. But yeah, Kappa though has at least made the left versus right correct decision in this case and got himself those wonderful boots in Mini Moldorm Cave. I'm sure humbugh is actually going to go over there probably on the sooner side after this trek. But always going to be really nice to be able to see to have some dashes.
Yeah, it was actually quite a big mistake on humbugh's side to decide to go left instead of right. Now he's just gonna miss the boots for a couple minutes, and yeah, it's honestly not good gameplay. So shame on you, humbugh.
I mean, humbugh, was the #1 seed going into the qualifiers, or after qualifiers, right? So, just saying,
Yeah,
maybe he,
disappointed here.
His title is kind of on the line here.
So difference we do see is that humbugh has over 500 rupees right now, whereas Kappa doesn't. So assuming that Hobo and Waterfall don't bail him out, he won't be able to get Zora here. Whereas humbugh will be able to do that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And Zora, well, I mean, not that that's so tempting, but we can't get back, right? Once we get that money, correct?
He has flippers, so he can.
Oh, he does.
Maybe.
Okay. Actually, yeah. Maybe he'll go get Hobo, and then I forgot he has flippers. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
he'll
so
go
maybe
get
on the way
money and then
back.
he get bailed out. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense to keep like the waterwalk state to go to Hobo because you get to dash so much more. And then you just take another slight detour swimming to Zora area to get Lake Hylia Island.
Yeah. Do you think that Kappa will remember to mirror Zora so we can go check Catfish as well?
Ooh, that's a really advanced strat, so I don't know if he'll do that.
It is one of those locations that doesn't really exist in a lot of people's minds, and so I can certainly understand if he just wants to skip it all the time because it's like there's nothing ever there in Catfish anyway, right?
Exactly. So humbugh is dipping into Swamp to check the first chest.
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. We do have a vanilla map. That is less interesting, but we actually, but it actually could be quite high value. If something was actually there in Swamp.
Yeah,
looks right. So.
Yeah, it's just a really big commitment, is all. So it's I don't know. It's just like even worse than going to Catfish, honestly.
Well, yeah, especially when you mirror bonk, because while the music is very cute when we do the mirror transition, I'm sure there's maybe not something that Kappa wants to listen to.
Let's see if there will be any payoff.
Oh, it's a big key too. Oh,
big sound that's required.
That's kind of important. Now, of course, all right, there are the boots for humbugh, but yeah, so we don't really have a hammer yet, so maybe we're not quite interested in diving in immediately, but yeah, it's definitely very required big key. So ether as well.
But now though, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask, did you happen to catch what was the requirement for Myra on humbugh's side when he was there? Was it Quake, maybe?
I didn't see it.
Okay. No.
You checked that pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
I'm sure.
though.
Oh. That's a nice reward from Zora.
Yeah, good thing there was a 300 on Lake Hylia Island. I mean, while maybe a sword is not always necessarily the most probable for, in this case, like go mode requirements, you are never gonna turn down an early master sword.
Oh yeah, for sure. The earlier you get the master sword, the earlier you get tempered sword, and that's when the real game begins.
Right, exactly. And the earlier you get tempered, the earlier you have go mode. I mean, that's the whole point of the game is to get tempered sword.
Exactly. Okay, so Kappa saving quit out of Zora. I'm curious to see where he will take this now. It doesn't look like he wants to rush Thief's Town. Yeah, so it's back to Light World. Probably gonna do North Light World now, like Lost Woods into Sanctuary, Back of Escape and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. So North Light World, we are first gonna do a alternate route in order to go get into like Lost Woods. Yes, this is the Light World version of going into the Dark World because we have no hammer, so unfortunately we have to take a slightly longer detour.
What if this? I don't think this... Oh, he's gonna kill him off here. That's why he's going this way.
Oh wow.
He's gonna mirror here and kill him off.
Oh my gosh, dude, look at some more advanced strats here. Dude, imagining knowing where to mirror in the Light World is not mirror bonk at the back of Skullwoods.
Yeah, you can see these are real inverted experts. Play this mode every day, twice probably, to know where to mirror.
Oh my gosh, that is so much. At least we found boots early. You know what? That's also another positive thing. We have the big key to Ice Palace. Interesting. We can
get our hammer.
Right? Yeah, right. As you mentioned earlier, right? Yeah, surely the hammer won't just be inside Ice Palace, right? That's the...
Oh, I think it is there. I hope it's there. That'll be fun.
I'm not sure if that second ether was intended.
I don't know, like, maybe they patched in ether lighting the torches.
Oh, that would be.
Because
You
too
know
many.
what? It is inverted, you know? I mean, how do you know what, you know, normally you expect bombos to work, but now it's going to be ether and, you know, in inverted.
Oh,
that's
yeah, that
how
makes
it
a lot of
should work,
sense.
right?
Mhm. Do you think Fire Rod and Ice Rod still work on Trinex, or do you have to use bombos and ether there? Because it's inverted.
Oh, that's also a really good question. You know, but Fire Rod and Ice Rod haven't really ever, you know, been that reliable in terms of weapons, you know, especially on the, like with the Ice Rod and the Firehead. So I certainly expect the medallions to be better.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I think on average you would gain time if the medallions worked instead of losing time.
Even if you have, in this case, you have to do like 5 ether shots or something, right? Probably still better than 5 ice rod shots, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, but we got our first crystal on Kappa side.
Yeah, significantly nicer equipment or loadout in order to go find Mothula. Fire Rod, I mean, we always had the Fire Rod before, but we have Master Sword and twice as much health as we did before, so much more comfortable. And I think we have Fairy too, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Fairy and the Blue Mail, so yeah, just very happy to go kill Mothula on this. So humbugh has his green potions now, so I guess he will also go kill Mothula here. Probably with the same route.
Yeah, this is actually really good thinking and, you know, riding on their parts, right? Because they probably don't ever want to come back, and they have to go through Lost Woods anyway, right? So it's actually quite efficient, you know, really taking advantage of that mirror.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the best time to go clear Scarlets. So yeah, very, very well done for both of them to recognize that this route is good here.
Yes. Skullwoods being a crystal means that you kind of have to do this, you know, begrudgingly, one way or the other. So can't just necessarily leave it. I know people have tried, but you know, it's just not, you know, to people's best interest if they want to try and finish the seed.
Yeah.
Alright, speaking of mid-slot stuff though, Kappa, presumably humbugh soon, is also checking the one and only location that is actually mid-slot. I mean, there are, you know, ways around it with the hookshot, and you can do Tomb Raider, but there is no hookshot in sight. We will have to go get it eventually, or find it eventually, but we'll just do this the old-fashioned way since we have, you know, boots and light world access.
Yeah, and we saw Kappa dash through, like past everything on the screens, including bonk rocks and stuff. So I assume is the route that he will take is like drop down to back of escape here, walk out, and then go to bonk rocks, check lumberjacks probably, then mirror and go up the mountain.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah, because we've already done all of Kakariko, right? And for the most part, it's also, I guess really what he has really done right now, in Light World is, I guess, just like the desert area. Oh, there is an ice rod, which is very, very much required.
Yeah, so that's a nice one to find, because we won't have to engage in any dreaded ice rod hunting in this seed.
Surely we won't be on the hunt for like bombos, right? Or something?
Well, at least for Turtle Rock, we can at least skip the medallion, and yeah, neither of us saw what the Maya medallion was, so yeah, maybe it could be required for that.
Well, presumably once eventually Kappa kind of goes over there, you know, we'll take a sneak peek. Or, you know, if we just find the bombos medallion somewhere, right, then we don't have to worry.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, looks like doing exactly what you had predicted. Is we're gonna check lumberjack, and we are then gonna head up that mountain. And it's still technically out of logic, right, to head up the mountain?
Yeah, they would need either the flute or the lamp, just like in regular modes for it.
Yeah, it would actually be kind of nice. You know, okay, so another, I guess, nice thing, if we could actually find the flute in order to give us logical mountain access, that is actually a bit better than probably just climbing up the normal way that we're going to see Kappa do. I mean, while it is still... Okay, hey, look, there's a hook shot. that looks pretty important. What do you think? Yeah,
they're probably going to be interested in getting that sooner rather than later. first we gotta find the cape.
Yeah, and then I think after that though, Swamp Palace is actually looking. Well, we still need the hammer. I mean, that seems to be a pretty big ticket item. But yeah, suddenly then Swamp looks like a pretty viable location to go to. But until we find that hammer though, it actually does look like a lot of things are not that desirable. Like if you're missing the hammer, you have access to a lot of things, but you can't really finish a lot of those things, right? Like you have access to Swamp right now. We can't finish Swamp. We have access to Ice Palace. We can't finish Ice Palace. We have access to Pod. Can't really finish Pod. You know, like there's just a lot of things that you want to be able to do, but you don't want to make the time investment to go over there.
Yeah, we do have access to Turtle Rock too with that mirror and the mids. But yeah, we can't finish it either without Kane or Big Key, but we can at least get a lot of items out of there since we can just mirror to Laser Bridge. Which
yeah, that's very true. I mean, the cane could just be there, right? Too. Just find the item that you want in the dungeon, you know, in order to go beat it.
Find the cane and the Vicky, and you're golden.
I mean, there are 4 checks on Laser Bridge. Surely two of them could pay off, right? Something like that.
Why not all 4?
Yes, that's true. So it looks like though, so Kappa has, in the time that we were, talking about the high value potential of Laser Bridge, he has, in this case, Rescue the Old Man. It does take actually a bit more of time, arguably twice as long as regular modes, and just because you have to, so in regular, you just have to walk the old man, right, and drop him off in his cave, which happens to me in Light World, but, in Inverted, you have to kind of make the trip all the way up and then walk him all the way back down, so it's almost like a round trip type of situation, or like a double backing.
Yeah, so Kappa is heading over to East Dark Death Mountain, and then probably will take the mid portal at the bottom to check out Light East Death Mountain. Humbugh, however, he doesn't want to go up the mountain. It looks like he's heading over to, I guess, the eastern area, and then mirror to Pod at the end. Something like that.
Yeah, looks like it. Yes, right. And so of course, like the mountain. Ooh, where are we going?
Look what he's doing. He's gonna lift your favorite rock.
Oh yes, my favorite rock. Good job, Humbugh. Yeah, it actually does look like so. Right, so as you mentioned before, so in order to come up the mountain, good job. Wow, Humbugh picking up red mail too. I also approve of this. Yeah, so coming up the mountain though on Kappa side, well, it is still very dense, right? We have especially with that mirror, we can have access to Turtle Rock. We've got access to all of the mountain stuff, right? Paradox and. Actually, do we have access to Paradox? Maybe not yet. But actually, all that stuff is in logic. Is out of logic, right? Looks like Humbugh on the other hand maybe wants to stay in logic for the time being.
Yeah,
we have nice all of these. Actually, almost every single one. We have Desert, Eastern. I guess we don't have Hera, but I guess we know where the hook shot is, but we also don't have we don't have the cape.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to find out what pays off more here.
Speaking of paying off, we have 400 rupees from the bottom.
Hell yeah. So, as opposed to the regular mode and Inverted, I guess the flute isn't important. Assuming you have the mirror, because you can just mirror to the Maya area. So, like either of the items you skip by sequence breaking to the mountain just isn't required. At least in the seed. So there's no real punishment that you can get for it.
Well, I mean, but to talk about being rewarded though, Kappa found Tempered Sword, which honestly I think is already a huge win, right? 30 sub 30, we have Boots and Tempered.
Yeah, the game is just extremely playable right now, and yeah, at least Kappa is having a ton of fun right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is about as much, I think, fun as you're gonna get out of an Inverted Seed. Speaking of though, so Humbug, good thing he picked up the red mail on Pyramid because he also found the red boomerang in the boomerang chest of Hyrule Castle. So I just feel like Humbug is actually really matching his style.
Yeah. No, I'm sure all he wants now is a red sword to go along with those two.
So I know that we saw the maps. It looks, given that Humbug is actually coming here and he's already checked the back of the escape, I'm going to assume that there is an item here. This could be our tempered sword for Humbug at least, which would be quite nice.
Yeah, just find the full red equipment over here in Hyrule Castle. Or maybe it's the hammer.
It's the hammer.
How about that?
That's tempered at home, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
basically tempered sword.
Humbug has very humble beginnings. He is very grounded. He recognizes that he will have better appreciation for the actual tempered if he gets the great value tempered first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now he gets to suffer with hammering enemies for a while, and then once he finds tempered, he'll just be so much more happier.
Happy. Exactly. Speaking of lack of happiness, Bow Wow is not cooperating whatsoever.
Which one's the left one? Is the left one Bow or is the left one Wow?
I thought the left one was always Bow, but I guess I don't know. But I don't know if they've ever been officially labeled.
But I guess the Japanese read from right to left, right? So maybe that means the right one is Bow.
That's true. And we are playing in the Japanese 1.0. At least that's the base ROM, right? So yeah. So maybe the left one is Bow. Oh, we have a bow though.
Do you think that's good for Kappa or bad? Because this might lead him to Eastern, and after he's done with Eastern, he might mirror to Port, where the hammer definitely isn't.
Yeah, that's also a very, very good point. And Eastern's a pendant too, right? So and we already have the big key, but it's also clearable. There's nothing kind of really precluding Eastern, from Kappa's position, to have the hammer. As we obviously know that it is very, very much buried within Dark Cross and Hyrule Castle. Oh my gosh!
Oh. I guess I was right in front of the Fairy Ascension Cave Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, Humbug has found his tempered sword in the attic.
Alright.
Down. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, Humbug is again he is again he has did he even hammer once actually before using tempered or finding tempered?
Maybe not. Oh, there's Cape on Laser Bridge. That's hooked up.
Yeah. Okay, so that's actually pretty good for. Okay, it's good for Kappa in that he is going to be able to finish out Swamp Palace. Oh no, he is always going to still be tempted to go into Swamp Palace without that hammer. Oh, what is he going to do? Yeah, man. How viable do you think even choosing to go to the front of escape is? Is that going to be a priority at all? Oh wow, there's the big key to Turtle Rock though. That's really good for Humbug because he hasn't been over the mountain yet.
Yeah, it looks like Humbug's route is of staying in logic is paying off a lot more than Kappa's route of sequence breaking the mountain.
Yeah, and Humbug just found a small shield in the big chest, so now he is all set for Swamp when he decides to go in the second time.
True. He's also one step closer to getting the red shield to complete his red equipment set.
True, yeah. You think White will have
it?
I've never counted.
I'm sure he can't wait much longer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So Kappa with his cape that he got off of Laser Bridge, still technically, out of logic for him, also for us because we don't have a flute yet, we don't have a lamp yet. But he is definitely gonna take it and then grab his hook shot, and then I guess kind of the question is where is he gonna decide to go next? As you mentioned though, Eastern Pot are pretty tempting because of the item densities there as well.
Maybe he'll do reverse West Side Breeze here to go check front of his cape and then move on to Eastern and Pot.
Oh, we can drop out the mushroom too, right?
Oh yeah, we got that too. So probably you'll just do that instead. Because, if you don't do standard, and the front of escape is just not very desirable.
Mm-hmm.
Because like just a pendant dungeon, but without a pendant or crystal. So it's just kind of, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think many runners just don't really want to go there ever.
Yeah, I think that's very fair too, right? And especially in in inverted, the front of escape. As you said, it's a mini. Well, it's effectively a pendant dungeon that even doesn't even have a prize at the end, for you. But also it's like really kind of once you get light world access, it's not necessarily like the earliest of things, right? So that it's just another one of those places where you maybe don't want to go there, just because it's also so late and you have a lot of other things open to you.
Yeah, and it's also just kind of far away from any portals. Since it's like dead center in Hyrule, but all the portals are basically on the edges.
Yeah.
So you always have to make like really a commitment to go there.
I guess maybe like one of the options. I mean, not it's probably going to happen in this particular scene. But if you beat Aga, it's not necessarily one of the worst spots to go check. Although,
yeah, true.
Looks like though we're gonna go to the front of escape on Kappa's side, which is gonna be a really good idea. I mean, it's really good for him in this case.
Yeah, for sure. Probably getting a bit bailed out here by the fact that Eastern is a pendant. I would be surprised if he'd be more inclined to go over to Eastern if it was a crystal.
But
yeah, actually, since it's a pendant, you don't really want to go there, at least not as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Although looks like it. We are speaking of crystal dungeons, though, with that hammer and the fire rod and tempered sword, we are gonna go and clear out Ice Palace, which is definitely a crystal dungeon that we can finish with the big key too, so we don't have to leave anything behind.
Yep. The only sad thing is that we don't have Kane yet, but it might as well just be in here. Who knows?
Also a good point. Humbugh, for what it's worth, he has been, I guess, more. He actually did an NMG run earlier, so he is more than acquainted in order to do Ice Palace bump jump. So why even let the practice? Yeah, we also have found bombos in Ice Palace. There's nice rule of fire.
Would you count this as rule of fire, or would it be a reverse rule of fire?
Well, it's the rule of fire for inverted,
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Inverted.
That was a silly question of me.
Yeah. Yeah. See, look at Humbugh doing his right, standing on the right peg even. So see, this guy knows what he's doing, for rando and for NMG.
Yeah, the guy is kind of good.
Lost his beams, unfortunately, though, from conveyor room.
Yeah,
but it's okay. So he's gonna do the Ice Palace bomb jump. Yeah, and so as Chaz also kind of pointed out, Kappa did get his hammer from Dark Cross, so he was gonna do that first. Gonna get the rest of the stuff in Zelda itself, which is very understandable. And then, man, are we going? I guess, are we actually just gonna go over the Eastern Palace area, maybe on Kappa's side, right? Via Light World and the Mirror and Dupod?
Probably. He can take Saswa that way, and then he'll probably just mirror into Dupod and try to not go into Eastern unless he has to. Although he also has Ice Palace open after that, so we'll see what he decides to do. So the route that Kappa took through Escape, like it paid off, of course, with the hammer in Dark Cross, but it was a little bit risky because he hadn't found the map yet, and there was a chance that the map was just in Dark Cross, which he could have avoided getting.
I was actually wondering about that too, because we saw the map on Humbugh's side, and like one of the reasons why you want to try and do the front, like the actual front of Escape, all the way to Zelda Cell first, is in hopes you can just avoid Dark Cross completely.
Yeah. But sometimes you just don't get punished, and then whatever you do is fine.
Yeah, whatever you do, as long as it pays off, you're all good. Oh, looks like we are not going to go over to the Eastern.
Okay, interesting. Where we go?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask.
Oh, he's going to Thieves. He hasn't done Thieves yet, I guess.
Oh right. We got the hammer. We had the big key to Thieves Town. From our favorite inverted friend, Catfish. Inverted favorite, maybe. Not sure what it is. But yeah, we have another clearable crystal dungeon on his side.
He might plan to do a route that like does Thieves here and then like does hammer packs and smiths and everything, and like when he turns in the purple chest, he just keeps going to swamp. Then he can take move on to ice and then do pod EP. And putting like pod EP at the end lets him make a more informed decision on whether to go into Eastern or not.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. But actually, yeah. So what do we actually kind of need right now for Gomon collectively?
We need a cane, and that is it.
That
I
looks
think.
like, yeah, that does look like kind of all we need. This is actually quite nice then. Well, maybe it's not necessarily quote unquote nice. In that inverted, right? As you mentioned, we have multiple access points into Turtle Rock. It's not necessarily just like strictly cane lock. The boss for sure is, right? But there are, you know, as kind of say on Kappa side, there were a lot of other points of interest, points that we can enter into Turtle Rock that were not cane locked, right?
Yeah. And I also forgot for a second that we had in Ambrosia we do need big keys too. So we also need the pod big key and the TR big key. And that also explains why he's not going to pod, because we are missing the big key.
Oh, okay. Right. So I think we actually do have the Turtle Rock big key, because Humbugh found it in the back of Beast Town, right?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. True. So Humbugh has it and Kappa is about to find it, but yeah, we still definitely need a pod big key.
Surely the pod big key won't just be in pod, right? Surely. We have never seen that happen.
Hey. Yeah, except like every time. So.
Yeah, actually.
Humbugh also going to the mountain now. With the TR big key in hand, you won't let him clear Trinex unless he suddenly turns out to be an insane hover. But he will be able to check the big chest in TR.
Yeah.
Which I didn't pay enough attention to know if it would have an item or not. But it is definitely a new check that we will see here.
Mm-hmm. And given that we have the hook shot, means that we can. I mean, yeah. If assuming there is an item still left in Turtle Rock, it could be the cane. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. The only cane locked items in inverted in TR, assuming you can just mirror in, are like the three in the front, like Rollout Room and Compass Chest. Right? And everything else you can just get with just the mirror. And Trinex, of course. Trinex also cane locked.
Yeah, so I was actually wondering, so when we saw Kappa go up the mountain like pretty early, right? We definitely established that it was out of logic because we hadn't seen the lamp or the flute. Humbugh here is going up the mountain a little bit later. Have we also not seen the lamp or the flute yet? Like
we certainly haven't.
Like, I mean, we obviously these guys are more than capable, of obviously doing the dark rooms, and they are, as they've demonstrated for us multiple times at this point, they're very capable of breaking logic ends going up here. But at some point, you would think maybe one of these things would show up, right? Maybe at some point.
Yeah, whenever they get to Eastern. Probably find one of those.
That's also true. There are a lot of illogic locations that they have access to that certainly do involve a little bit more of a time investment. So if you can maybe deduce that one of them is there, or maybe even both of them are there, right, and you don't need it necessarily to complete the sleep, then it's just time. It's just time to give it back to you.
Yeah, I think both of these runners would be very happy to just never go over to the Eastern area. And only go there in the Dark World to clear pod.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, right? So because this is inverted, and normally if you want to do a combo like an Eastern pod type of situation, you would go in the Dark World, traverse, basically go pick up the key and whatnot, and then mirror right in the front of pod to do both. So here in inverted, you would traverse the Light World version. So is it actually faster to get into pod if you mirror, as opposed to like going through like the Dark World?
Well, you still have to get Kiki. That's the awkward part about doing it in inverted.
Okay.
So
I guess like you still have to kind of like backtrack a little bit. Then is that the?
Yeah. So you have to like mirror at Eastern. First, you have to figure out where to mirror. So first, you're gonna mirror Bonk.
Oh,
then you are going to mirror.
All right. There's the extra 30 seconds right there. Gotcha.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, then you have to like walk back to get Kiki and pick him up. I guess if Eastern is a pendant and you're not really interested in going inside, you can just do Sarswala and mirror then mirror in front of Sarswala's hut. And just take the monkey and run over. And then if you still want to go into Eastern, you can just go back to Sarswala and get your portal and then yeah, go to Eastern that way. Yeah, we'll see what they decide to do. Just depends on how much they want to commit into going into Eastern. Yeah, Big Chest didn't have anything in TR, but we also get to see Crystal Roller Room, which Kappa also couldn't do without the cane or the big key. So that's actually another tech that we get to experience.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we have real.
And it's like that is.
Oh wow, that is holy cow! Talk about staying in logic has really They say in logic in the mid game for humbugh before Suki's putting up the mountain really had paid off for that.
Yeah, that is really big because Kappa has basically no incentive to return to TR until he finds the cane.
Yeah.
There's still 3 items in Hookshot Cave, which might make him go back to East Death Mountain a bit sooner. But there's a lot of dungeons to do, so yeah.
Yeah, and assuming in this case humbugh finishes up the rest of like World Death Mountain, right? He is gonna find his bow at the end of Spiral Cave, which looks like at least humbugh has been pretty thorough. Like he hasn't really skipped anything, but yeah, he is going to probably hit go mode very relatively quickly here, which is amazing. Actually, for inverted.
Yeah, it'll all depend on where the pot Dicky is. It could still turn into a very nasty for clear.
Yeah, but in this case, like as you said, the cane being basically in Turtle when humbugh has gotten it, he doesn't have really much reason to return to the mountain because humbugh is gonna be able to finish everything, right? But Kappa, on the other hand, so he has a lot of options in order to be able to find the pot Dicky, but again, he's also gonna be kind of looking for the King of Samaria as well. So he won't just stop looking for things once in this case he finds that last big key.
Yeah. I guess his best case scenario would be Port Bicky and Hookshot Cave maybe. So he's forced to go back there, and then also he has to not bail the mountain and actually go back into TR. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit difficult for Kappa to get that cane in time.
I also wonder if Kappa wants to hold out on Ice Palace. I mean, maybe not so long to the point where he just refuses to go into the dungeon, but I certainly do know. We've certainly seen the Ice Palace or not. King of Samaria can save quite a bit of time in Ice Palace, which is kind of led to a lot of hesitancy for runners in order to go in there without it. I don't know in this case. I don't actually know if humbugh ended up picking up anything from Ice Palace, but it's certainly another consideration for Kappa.
I think he only got bombos in there.
Okay. Oh, that's a good point.
Things that matter, at least.
Yeah, the rule of inverted fire. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So another thing potentially, could be that we're here in Swamp on Kappa's side. He is doing left side. Pot Big Key's over here. It potentially could be good for Kappa just because now humbugh is in one big key go mode. Maybe more inclined to skip it. Don't really know what humbugh's tendencies are at this point.
Yeah, I guess left side first is a bit more desirable for shuffled big keys because you can't find the big key in the back.
Right. Yeah. And Kappa's also searching for multiple items too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. For humbugh, I would assume he at least has the back first, since if the big key is just in the back, then he can just skip left side because he's in go mode.
Yet another bottle of a green potion.
So earlier when humbugh did the vanilla Bicky test, hey, it's Mountain Axis.
Look, his plays logic. We got a lamp. I'm sure Kappa will appreciate the fact that now everything is in logic. I'm not sure how far that appreciation can go, but
But yeah, earlier when humbugh went to the Bicky chest in TR after he found the cane, he did not continue on to Charms because he knew that he would get spread out at the front of the yard to then, with his cane, just do like the compass chest, drawer room, and Charms all together here. So he can save time overall.
He has played inverted before. We're even skipping the pokey. It's almost as if he's playing key drop, you know? He doesn't even need the key.
Yeah.
We're also seeing the power of Red Mail on Humbugh's side. He, you know, did the muscle memory, you know, in one version of trying to avoid chance for NMG, but you know, iframes ran out, and you know, who cares because we have Red Mail. So.
Exactly. He's basically invincible right now. He just cannot die. Also, Chesses.
Yeah, true. I was gonna
Nice
say though,
job,
I almost think that he should not have picked up the gold sword in the Thief's Not Attic, because I don't know, you know, like while the gold color is, you know, quite still, I mean, it's nice looking, but you know, everything else he has is red, right? Red cane,
yeah,
red armor, red, you know, red cape, red boomerang.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, a mistake to open that chest where the sword was. Just kind of ruined it all.
He did pick up a map in Turtle Rock. Maybe was that all the items?
Yeah, he's checked everything. I guess he didn't quite. Yeah, we saw him open everything. So yeah, he should have been able to figure that out.
So speaking of, we actually do see a comment in chat here, observing that yes, that is actually.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Humbugh did not go to Spiral Cave, so suddenly we have maybe a double incentive to go back up the mountain.
Okay, that's dangerous. There is a second bow, so he might just get bailed out, but we did not see it in ice. It was nice. We did not see it in swamp. It could still be in mire. And yeah, once he's done swamp and mire, he's gonna have to make decisions. Interesting. So Kappa is choosing to go over to the Maya Desert area instead of his clearable crystal ice.
Yeah, maybe I'm wondering if he wants to try and hold out and wait for the cane. Like, you know, and maybe like if he just finds maybe like another thing. Well, no, actually, it's a good point. Okay, it is quick, so we can't actually get in. But we still need the cane for fire, right?
Yeah, you need the cane more for Maya than for ice.
Yeah.
So I figured maybe he would want to go to ice first, but I guess there's a bunch of overworld checks over here. Which he just ran past Agana and Checkerboard, right? Yeah, that's why he's going back into the portal, okay.
Yes. Yeah, but it looks like in this case, maybe he just wants to do like a loop back. Like he wants to make sure, maybe this is kind of like a hedging. This was available very early. You know, he's gonna do like these quick, quote unquote, at least like sphere or whatever, 2-3 checks, you know, before diving into Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It certainly can make a lot of sense, you know, just because if you also do find cane here, right, you're very happy to go into Ice Palace with it. We know it's not here, obviously, but yes, he doesn't know that.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right, so contrary to maybe what we were originally thinking, that Humbugh would be in Pod Big Key Go mode by the time he hits Swamp, that is certainly not the case. He is in Bow and Pod Big Key Go mode, so most likely than not, he is also going to go check left side Swamp, and he will also be rewarded with yet another red item, you know, that matches his the rest of his accompaniments, which is the lamp, as opposed to the blue thing, you know, which is the flutes.
Yeah, I think he's way happier about the lamp because of that. I know Humbugh to be a guy that's very conscious of his aesthetics, so
you know, I guess, you know,
he's gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, well, you know, so he really likes green. What green items are there? I mean, I know there's the book.
And green mail, I guess.
Okay, so clearly we should have been playing open hard because there are no mail upgrades.
Yeah, maybe he's actually sad about all this red stuff when he'd much rather have the green stuff. Maybe that's why he drank his green potion so earlier.
Oh, true.
because
That is
he-
very true.
I bet he was eyeing it the entire time, and then
Yeah.
once he made the plan to go to Skywars, he just was like, yeah, I'll drink it right now.
Mhm.
I can't wait any longer.
Yeah. Also, he does have green hearts, you know, as his color. I mean, Kappa does as well, but you know, I certainly, you know, would expect that from Humbugh's side.
Yeah,
As
as
opposed to,
the
you know,
green
like,
boomer ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Man, he should be diving into Mire then, you know, like nobody's business, you know, just because
the green
that
dungeon.
entire dungeon is green.
What about Eastern? Do you think he wants to dive Eastern?
You know, that's a great
the ball.
question. I would certainly very much like to see him go Eastern. I don't think he's quite as strong, you know, as a subscriber, you know, to the, you know, leave Eastern, you know, like in, you know, as maybe, you know, it's like Zelga and, you know, and Wall Kicks are. But, you know, I also don't know, you know, how much affinity he has to that dungeon.
Yeah,
Especially in this particular case.
sounds like he's on the wrong side of the cold, so maybe we won't see him go there.
Yeah, but also, you know, as you said, you know, so for Kappa, right, earlier, you know, when he's trying to sequence out his dungeons, you know, maybe the more dungeons you do before Pod Eastern, right, the better informed decision you'll have, maybe in order to dive that pendant dungeon, right? And Humbugh might actually be doing the exact same thing, right? He's missing the bow, he's missing the Pod Big Key. We have certainly seen many instances where they just happen to be there, you know, in their vanilla / you know, mirrored inverted dungeons, but you don't really want to kind of take that chance. Like, if you find it, you know, going in, then that would be much better for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I very much expect Humbugh to just go left after Swamp to go to Mire and clear out that crystal dungeon. And yeah, once he's done with that, and if he finds nothing, it's gonna be interesting where he goes.
Yeah. And so yeah, we kind of can see on both sides, Kappa really needs to go back to the mountain for his Cane of Samaria that's inside Turtle Rock, because he did not have the Turtle Rock Big Key when he first initially sequence broke out the mountain. Humbugh, on the other hand, decided to also not visit Spiral Cave, which is, you know, admittedly a not great location after you've already climbed the mountain 10 times. But that unfortunately did have at least one of the bows that are in the seed. So both of them have a reason to go back up to the mountain. They just don't realize or know yet. Oh, well, never mind. I also didn't catch that we found the Big Key to Skull Woods in the swamp.
Yeah,
oh, that's another great location. Yeah.
Well, the upside is, next time we see a Big Key, it's gonna be a 50-50. That's the correct one. So it's gonna appear even worse when we get the wrong one.
True. Okay, so we have a little bit of hopium in that, you know, the last Big Key that's outstanding, that's not GT Big Key or Pod Big Key, is the Hera Big Key, right? So it could be in GT.
True. That's very fair. Do you think it will actually be in GT? Oh.
That's why I said hopium. I would like to, you know, have it be there. I mean, but the thing is, the Herapod is also really fast. I also don't know if they're just interested basically in just going up and seeing, you know, like what the compass chest, for example, has, right? Or maybe Moldarn just has an item. I'm not sure what it can help them. I mean, maybe from Humbugh's perspective, it could be like Silver's, you know, like the other bow. Like he will just never find the one in Spiral Cave, for example. Right. But it certainly would be a very interesting decision to go up there.
Yeah, it's probably more of a last resort though.
Yeah, and this being inverted, or whatever, Ambrosia, getting to Hera is not just a quote-unquote quick mountain trip up in a mirror. In order to get up there, you know, there is no mirror option. You have to run the long way around, and so it's even higher time investment. Right? For a pendant dungeon, potentially, that you don't even know if it's going to be in logic.
Yeah, pendant Hera just never a great time, no matter the mode, honestly.
That's also very true.
Okay, so it looks like it's finally time for Eastern and Pod on Kappa's side. Which makes sense, he doesn't have the cane yet to clear Mire.
Yeah, and I think right now he's kind of like banking on the fact that the Canis Maria is also not in Mire, or something that's useful. Which it's I'm not sure what the time investment it is in order to get into Mire. In inverted, maybe not necessarily the best. Look, there is the pod
Oh, hey.
Oh my god.
Of course it's over here.
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, okay, so Kappa, the good news for Kappa is that he is going to be able to completely beat out Pod. He is certainly going to be hoping that the 6 items now that are available in Pod are one of them is going to be the Canis Maria. We know, of course, that's not the case. I'm going to assume that he's going to dip Eastern after this.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything great left afterwards. And he took the portal over here, so yeah, that's probably...
Yeah, it looks like it. So he's gonna go pick up Kiki. Yeah, as you mentioned, so we are gonna have to probably like double back quite a bit in this case in order to go pick up our friends.
Is he our friend if he takes money from us?
True. He will take money from us multiple times too. Yeah, I don't know. this is maybe like more of a frenemy than it is a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile though, so what is it looking like for Humbugh? Humbugh's not like gonna be able to clear this particular dungeon, as in this is what, he's gonna be able to get another crystal out of this. It looks like actually according to our tracker, there's also a 5-6 crystal, so potentially Pyramid Fairy is gonna be on the table for Humbugh after this. But in terms of items that he can actually find, I think the only other option probably is gonna be that other bow, if it's here.
Yeah, he would be very happy to find that. Because, yeah, like you said, Pyramid Fairy is available after this. And from what he has left, I assume like his route is gonna look something like Pyramid Fairy, Pod, Eastern. So...
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
He would be very happy to find the bow first. And of course the Pod Big P, but of course we know that that one is over there.
You think he'll go through my favorite rock again? If he goes that route? Pyramid Fairy into Pod Eastern?
Yeah, he almost has to.
Oh man, twice in one day.
What are the odds?
I think it would be, man, so how would you feel about fighting like a book? Soon-ish.
Awful.
That's okay. That's a very good sentiment. That's a very expected sentiment. It's not nobody ever wants to feel awful. Regardless of what color that book is, even though it is green, Humbugh is already committed to his being red this particular seed, so we really don't see that anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it would be the worst to find it right here in Maya on Vitreous, or if it would be better.
Portal? I forgot if he just came in. I guess he has to, right?
No, he has to come in that point,
Okay.
Yeah, because he would be able to immediately enter Pendant Desert, but also, like, I'm sure he doesn't really want to go into the Pendant Desert.
And he doesn't have a bow, so so why even bother basically going to the end?
Exactly.
Nice dash strat.
We can tell he's really just trying to appease the commentators in this one because he lifted a certain rock. So clearly he would only want to kill animals with the bow.
Yeah, well, speaking of lack of bow, I mean, so the gold source only made up a good amount of time, for phase 2, but it's not something that you really want to come into Vitreous with. I mean, without a bow in this case. It just happens to be that the gold sword is like super powerful. There's a reason why in the vanilla game that Mire is the gold sword is locked behind Mire and Holster.
Alright, what are we doing?
This looks like maybe Pyramid Fairy, right?
Yeah, it does look like it. Okay, so Kappa hasn't found another bow yet. In Pod. So that probably means that Humbugh isn't gonna get bailed out here unless a bow is on Pyramid Fairy or Eastern.
Yeah. Right. So if you're rooting for Kappa, you certainly do not want to see a bow in anywhere basically in this vicinity. You want to force Humbugh basically back up the mountain. I mean, also because to keep parity, Kappa also has to be forced back up the mountain too. At least Pyramid Fairy is not so bad in inverted. I mean, you don't have to go through all like the pegs, you know. I mean, it's basically like an Aga defeat, you know, route.
Yeah, you just have to remember to mirror in the correct spot and not too high up.
That's
where you lose
actually,
the ball.
a lot of mental energy. You're right. Never mind. We should just go back to not playing inverted. It's too much.
Okay, looks like Kappa hasn't done the back yet. Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's still spots where the bow could be in here. And look, it's the rock again.
Hello, favorite rock. We got it from the left and the right this time. So Humbugh really, you know, is like a completionist here. So.
That is a lot of fan service there, Humbugh.
We do have the mushroom. Actually, did we check magic that? Maybe we did a Kappa side and I just didn't catch it.
Yeah, I don't recall. But Kappa has definitely done the mushroom already, so we know there's nothing here.
Remember that. Right, it's 3 bombs. I don't even think you picked it up.
Okay, chat's saying nothing on magic bed, so Kappa probably did it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I wonder if the skip for Spiral Cave was intentional on Humbugh's side, because he hasn't really skipped very much, at least so far. It was kind of like the one thing, right, that was sort of kind of left on the mountain for him. I mean, understandably, like, if you're on, like, Death Mountain, you know, especially in Inverted, you've already, and especially, you know, Humbugh's case, he has already climbed, again, like, 10 different times, right? So another time for a Spiral Cave is not cheap, and you have to run all the way around, you know, and surely, you know, what important thing could be there?
Exactly. And like you said, he's checked everything, so making one skip surely can't be that bad, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what every single random player I think has said. You know, surely this one skip won't destroy my chances. Until you go back and you find, well, maybe it depends on the item that you go back and find, but you know, if you go back and find like your hammer or your mitts, or maybe in this case a bow for that matter, you really don't feel great. Hook shot after diving in Swamp Palace, you know, that's also not a great feeling.
So I'm back to the other way to go into port here. He mirrored in front of the Arsala and then took Kiki over to port immediately.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
Which, honestly, it's basically the reverse of what I would have expected out of these two, but maybe that's because we're playing inverted.
Yeah, true.
Because Plasma can actually clear port and only needs one more item, so he could have very high hopes of just, you know, clearing this dungeon and finding the cane on the way.
Oh yeah, that's definitely for sure. I think Humbugh, you know, Humbugh is probably also thinking that, you know, surely, like, we just found the pod Vicky, you know, in the back of the hospital. You know, I'm sure there's a bow in here, right?
Surely.
My guess is though, if PlasmaKappa finds his second bow in here, I think that's, I mean, it's not going to be very great for him. I think it's going to be very good for Humbugh.
Yeah. Kappa basically wants the second bow to be in GT. Everything else is just going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, GT, like Hera, I think that's all be something that's pretty viable, right? I mean, basically something that is not on the way, you know, for Humbugh to force him back up the mountain. Or to you know, basically, until he also himself goes back to the mountain. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that Kappa's also been counting. There is going to be a non-zero chance that this is an item also in the middle big contested Eastern.
How many items has he found? Did you count? I certainly did not.
No.
Okay.
I saw the map earlier, and I saw bombs in the big chest, and I think it was a harvest or something, maybe in map chest.
Okay.
We're gonna see in this case very shortly that, you know, whatever this item is, maybe it'll be the compass. Who knows? And then there'll be something for sure on Lambo, or not Lambo, Armos.
Okay, it's an item, but he's continuing. So
maybe we found map and compass already.
Probably,
in that case, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he's just hedging his bets on pedestal, which
yeah, that's also true.
I would assume he probably wouldn't, because we're still missing the book for desert,
yeah. Good point.
And we're missing the Biggie for Hera. Which if that's just in GT, then that means the king can't be on pedestal. Same with the book. So yeah, the penance just don't seem very attractive right now.
So what other locations in this case have we not checked between, you know, the two runners? I think nobody's done purple chest, is that correct? Have we done
No, they
deep?
both did.
Okay.
Yeah, they did right
Okay,
at the start.
maybe I just missed. Okay, maybe I just forgot. Oh, dear.
I think the only things that are missing right now are Hookshot Cave, the last 3 items, Spike Cave, and then humbugh hasn't done Spiral Cave, of course, and Kappa hasn't done Crystal Roller and Tiara. I think that's gonna be the only thing once they're done with Port and Eastern.
Yeah, and of course that doesn't, like, in this case, like, preclude, you know, some item that we're gonna get, you know, for example, we find the book, you know, in one of those locations, or we find, like, the shovel, right? We can also, you know, go check a couple more locations, but looks like, though, Eastern is not our answer today, so that's very good for Kappa. Or at least it's good in the short term, in that it buys him some more time. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but it looks like Kappa probably has to go back to the mountain. Oh yeah. So he will do Hookshot Cave and probably go into Tiara then to check Crystal Roller.
You think he'll do Spike Cave as well, like on this trip, or is Spike Cave just like even worse than inverted, as in this is not like a good option to do it at any point? It's still the same.
It's like sort of the same, I guess, because you just run up from your saving quit point.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he prefers to do Hookshot Cave, which makes sense. It's 3 items.
Yeah, very very understandable. It's also 3 items here versus like the 1 and. All right, it's our what is here? Is it the other bow? That would be pretty.
That would be funny.
Hilarious. It is not. Oh, he also has. Oh, Kappa also has Mimic Cave as well. That's right, because he didn't have the hammer when he was here earlier.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, so he can also do that.
Yeah, so he's gonna do that and then mirror from there and do Crystal Roller. So he is gonna be in go mode in a second. I think he's still quite, at least a bit behind, I think, because he will still have to like climb the mountain again to get to Trinex. Or no, actually he's just gonna use the cane and probably go like the normal way to Trinex from Crystal Roller.
From Crystal Roller? Yeah, that probably is faster then at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, because he would have to climb the mountain again to get to Laser Bridge.
Yeah, of course, you know, right. So, at least after this, I believe Kappa should be done with the mountain. Just because, you know, this is inverted, we do not have to go into where GT normally is for Ganon's Tower. We are going, in this case, GT is actually at Hyrule Castle, upstairs. Humbugh actually looks like, suddenly, he decided to not finish up Armos, even though we did see there was an item in the back. But looks like we're gonna go straight back up the mountain, and this will also be, assuming Humbugh does Spiral Cave, this will be quite good for him. Kappa, of course, picks up his cane, and as you said, like, it looks like he is just going to basically go the normal way. We're not gonna go back outstairs or anything like that. We're just gonna go, you know, Trinex.
Yeah. He wasn't able to clear Armos because he doesn't have the bow.
Oh, he has a bow. You're right. Good point.
So yeah, that's
excellent.
like
I forgot.
It's like a 1 to 1.5 minute time save that he gets over Kappa because he couldn't finish Eastern. Yeah, basically, it's gonna be. Yeah, so Kappa will be done with Trinex right around when Humbugh gets his bow-ish.
Yeah, so I guess it'll be kind of a race between, like, so Kappa still has to go back to Meyer, right, and finish that dungeon. And he does have the big key, and this being, you know, not true key sanity, but, you know, basically once you have the big key, just go straight to the boss, right? He doesn't have to clear out the dungeon. Yeah. But Humbugh still has to go back to Pod. The time investment in order to get inside maybe isn't so bad, but still getting to the back of Pod, it can be still, you know, quite a bit of time. So, yep, there's Humbugh's bow.
It feels sort of even between the two.
Yeah.
Probably a bit longer to get to Maya because of the extra 2 mirror transitions. But yeah, Humbugh also is the first one to save and quit back to the house. So I would guess that humbugh is a little bit ahead here. Like half a minute or so, maybe a bit more.
Okay, that is, I mean, while it is kind of like a nice margin, these margins are still pretty tight. I mean, they do have in this case gold sword, and a bow, I mean, and red mail, so the chances of them kind of having like a mishap in terms of execution probably isn't the highest, but you know, again, things can happen.
Yeah, definitely also, can come down to GT routing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we the GT big key is somewhere still in GT basement, so that is still preserved. And you know, depending on what these guys decide to do, right, the difference between the basement time can still be quite significant. Seeing the ledge chest still remaining unopened, you know, so humbugh, you know, could have sequence broken out the both side, but at this point, when he was going to pod eastern, he already had the pod big key in hand, so he knows anything bow locked is not going to help him.
Yeah, it could be the second bow for all it's worth, but
true, that is very true.
He probably figured the odds for that are low enough that it's not worth bothering with. Yeah. Because at this point it just looks like the second bow will just end up being in GT.
Yeah.
Because what have we not seen? It's just Spike Cave, right?
A GT Spike Cave Hera, right? I think that's also at least the front of Hera.
Oh yeah, I guess they never did that, did they?
No, nobody went over there because there was no book, there was no reason, at least no good
yeah, that's true.
Over there.
True. Yeah. So yeah, bottom of Hera is also left.
I guess we're gonna find out. You know, assuming they don't find the silvers before, I guess they hit Ganon phase 4. We are at least gonna get a hint about the general location of the silvers.
Yeah, but even if they are in Hera or Desert, they're probably just gonna be behind GT.
Yeah,
because the Hera Biki probably in GT, and so will probably be the book.
So I guess in this case, in this particular situation, because there are not a lot of locations, like if you hadn't found, well, I guess we can see how much of the basement they cleared. But would you still try and search for silvers if you're upstairs?
Yeah, I like to. Personally, I like to open the chest that are on the way. So definitely the Moldom 2 chest. If I'm powdering the anti-fairies, probably also pre-Moldom and maybe mini hammer left. But yeah, certainly not everybody does that.
Yeah, I mean, all kind of depends on maybe like the state of the match, how aggressive you are. I've certainly seen runners, doesn't matter what they have, Master Sword Silverless, you know, every single chest is skipped, right, on the path or not. Sometimes you even see like, yeah, all depends on, you know, like what you're comfortable with. But you know, at least in the Master Sword Silverless, I would certainly, I would consider it to be very, very reasonable for you to at least open like a chest or two, right, and hopefully you get numbered.
Who would willingly fight Ganon on Master Sword? It's just crazy talk.
That's true. That is true. I mean, obviously tempered is go mode for every scene. Well, you hope it's not go mode for every scene, but you certainly hope you have it for Ganon by the time that you finish.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay, so I do see a couple numbers in chat. So certainly, if you want to take a guess as to where you think humbugh will go find the GT big key, obviously, you know, and yes, we are not going to Castle Tower. This is inverted. At least the trip to Hyrule Castle isn't too bad. Kappa's having a bit of a scary fight here with bitch. Oh my gosh, dude.
It's okay. He has red mail. He is invincible. He can't die.
You're right. You're right.
So. Okay, it looks like humbugh is actually way more ahead than I thought.
He has a whole... Yeah, I guess he's just entering GT, right? So this is 118.40, let's say?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kappa still has to... I guess we're saving quitting? Are we running? I have no idea how you're supposed to get to Hyrule Castle, like from Iron.
I think we save and quit, yeah. And then take the Swamp Portal.
So it looks like the humbugh has decided to at least go left to Stalfos room. This is going to be at least a least variant route.
Yeah, I think this is... Hey, that's the book.
Nice book, yes.
I think with humbugh taking this route, he basically can't get GT routed, unless Kappa gambles tile room, probably.
Yeah, right. So like the thing that going to Stalfos room first kind of offsets the possibility of if there is no small key in Hope room and the GT big key is in Compass chest, then you go hope room first, and you're basically, you know, like several minutes at this point then behind in order to go get the big key. But it turns out there's a small key in hope room anyway, so looks like maybe on average in this case, like Humbug's gonna lose a little bit of time depending on where the GT big key is. I mean, if it's in tile room, it doesn't matter, but in this case, Humbug will just make an extra trip over to the left side of GT basement, assuming it's not here.
So that's more than 1.5 minutes. That's
Yeah,
that Humbug
like
is
it.
ahead. Yeah, 135 seconds.
Yeah.
Look at Silvers.
Oh my gosh. Very, very cute. Thank you. All right, so we have Gold Sword, Red Mail, not tempered, Silvers. I mean, why doesn't everybody just play Ambrosia, Gem? Like, look at all this wonderful equipment that you get for Ganon.
Yeah, great. After full clearing the scene.
Yeah, it looks like
So yeah,
this is Kappa
even-
also going left, so
Yeah, even if Kappa goes full left here, he's still gonna be behind. Looks like that's not his plan though.
yeah. I think probably also, I mean, partially maybe also because like Silvers were in Kappa's chest, right? So Humbug's gonna get a little bit of time back if Kappa doesn't go into Kappa's room. I'm sure that in this case he will,
But yeah, since Kappa takes a full route, like the same route as Humbug, Humbug basically gets this full 1 minute 35 that he's ahead going into the climb.
Do you think Kappa would just go full right, as in like we won't mirror out a compass, we're gonna grab the conveyor star cross key and then just keep going to Ice Armos? That's quite, I mean, that's quite the gamble, or that's quite the route, but
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it, but it's basically what Kappa needs to do at this point, so...
but
well, no, please don't do it, actually.
That is actually not, in fact, the Hera big key, that is the big key that we need, which is GT, so Humbug has gotten it in random order, straight up.
Okay, so Kappa is just taking the same route, for better or for worse. Yeah, he needs Humbug to make like a big mistake now. Otherwise, Humbug's pretty much got it in the bag.
Yeah.
And with the equipment that Humbug has, there isn't much chance that he can screw up that badly. But things can happen.
Yeah. I certainly would not expect, especially at this point in both Humbug and Kappa's execution capabilities, that if something does happen, it is going to be pretty catastrophic and a very, very low chance. However, you know, even the best of equipments cannot save you from certain bosses' offensive maneuvers. Moldorm does not care what equipment you have. The gold sword, fighter sword, no sword, red mail, whatever. He will be able to knock you down just as easily. Sadly.
It's true. Yeah, he would need to fall like 3 times though for Kappa to make up this time.
And the falling of many things can certainly slow Humbug down, or maybe that's kind of like what Kappa kind of needs for Humbug to happen. Or I mean, so Humbug can follow Moldrum too. I mean, not that we're asking for any type of falls from either runner. Ganon also, as they say, is a very strict possibility.
Yeah, definitely can happen. Though again, it's pretty low chance since they got good sword and silvers, so
yeah, and
you usually don't have to take risks there. Yeah.
Of course, put a nice Canis Amaria to go fight Wizrose, one of the most satisfying rooms in the game.
Yeah, always happy to have the cane.
Yeah, very, very much required in this case. Yeah, Kappa, I may not be as happy to know that the cane was required in this case, given when and where he found it. But yeah, in this particular case. Alright, Humbug is gonna face his greatest foe, most challenging room ever, Torches 2. There is a very fun clip of Humbug basically trying to light these torches. Looks like he was very successful in this particular case. I'm really glad that all the practice in that room has paid off for him.
I'm proud of you, Humbug. Nice job.
a little disappointed that we couldn't hit 2,000 rupees this game. But you know what? They spent 500 rupees to go buy a sword early on. That was their master sword, so you know they can be forgiven.
Yeah. That's an acceptable way. Actually, they have gold sword right now, so they should have skipped that sword.
Yeah, well, it was like the early
unforgivable.
master sword though, right? And let them kill Mobula a little bit nicer.
Yeah, but they don't need the gold sword, so really, they should have planned ahead and kept that money.
True, true. Humbugh now at the hardest fight in the game. It is so hard, some would call it impossible. But he did it pretty well. Yeah, no, Humbugh is, you can tell he's played this game, you know, once or twice. And the good news about Aga, is that it doesn't ever seem to change what mode you're in, inverted or not. Always seems to be just as challenging. Just like this stupid bridge that Kappa has tried to dash and always gets blocked for some reason that the guards never cooperate with.
Right, it's Ganon time. Will Ganon help out Kappa or Humbugh take this home?
Who is Ganon sending help to? Is it Kappa or is it Humbugh this time? Humbugh's looking pretty good in order to get the 1-in-1 with Gold Sword. I know it's quite challenging that you only need 6 slashes for the first 2 phases.
Yeah, I mean, so many things can go wrong. Like you could miscount and stop at 5.
Yeah. We need a compass. We need a little like hit counter, basically, for all of these.
Yeah, why can't that come with the gold sword?
Yeah, also, I'm also seeing that Kappa's also doing a little bit of extra content by climbing the stairs on the right side in order to go back to Moldorm 2.
I appreciate the bonus content.
Alright, but looks like though, Humbugh has put 4 silver arrows into Ganon. He has a sword out, so get your GGs out in chat for Humbugh taking a Game 1 victory over Kappa in their series. Best of 3 for Inverted, or Ambrosia. Looks like though Kappa, with probably seeing the dot done in the race room from Humbugh, has decided to forfeit, so we are going to see in this case if we can get both of these runners in for a chat. Alright, looks like we are joined both here by Humbugh and Kappa. GG's, guys!
GG's.
Thanks. GG's Kappa.
Yeah. GG's.
Yeah, so I guess Humbugh, we can start with you. So first off, looks like actually some of the major differences, at least in the mid game, was that Kappa decided to sequence break up the mountain early, you know, with no lamp and no flute. So he went there before like thieves and hammer and front of escape and everything. So he got his bow pretty early. And got the cape off of Laser Bridge for his hook shot. Kind of was able to do the rest. But unfortunately, as we kind of both saw, the King of Samaria was definitely very much behind the Thieves Down Big for many reasons. So then, yeah, yeah. So that kind of deterred Kappa's route a little bit towards the end. But I guess like for you, when you were up in the mountain, we very noticeably saw that you did not do Spiral Cave out of all your mountain endeavors. Any particular reason?
I did not. It's Death Mountain and Inverted. I don't want to do
Fair
it.
point.
I don't want to do it multiple times, especially not after apparently completely losing my ability to do arithmetics. Like, I was sure there was an item left in Total Rock. I was so sure. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
counted the
Oh,
items
yeah,
I
we
got.
noticed
I
that.
counted the
Yeah.
keys that I had, and I was like, there was a key on Laser Bridge. There was a key on Laser Bridge. Turns out there was no key on Laser Bridge. So yeah, I did the front, and I was kind of pissed that I just did those 4 checks, lost 1.5 minutes, and then just I'm 2 items from go mode. I have all of Swamp. I have all of Mire. I have all of Pod and Eastern. Let's go do that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I mean, the item is never in the one spot you skip after you full clear everything else, right? So
Right,
I fully
right,
understand why you did that.
Yeah. and like we talked briefly about it in our race room, Kappa and I, that it felt like this seed, it was either get the bow early and last locate Samaria, or get Samaria early and last locate bow. It was either or. I feel like this was a perfect example of why East Death Mountain sucks in Burn.
Pretty much. I mean, there was some. I guess there was some opportunity for me to go back there, but just basically just did dungeons and Eastern, I guess, until came time to climb the mountain again. So I would have needed to skip something like either Eastern or LSS.
Mhm.
I had to play to the Eastern strengths.
It is quite a nice dungeon, but unfortunately, it was not the help you needed today. I guess kind of like alongside that though. So, what was, I guess, your reasoning, Kappa, to go up the mountain early as opposed to like doing the other? You know, like that was kind of like a major point of divergence, right? Humbugh decided to do front of escape and like all the rest of the, I guess, stuff to try and maybe keep more logic, but you ended up going up the mountain pretty early.
Oh yeah, well, running up. Well, I have to do Zora, run up here. Like, well, I could. And after Sieves, I'm in a weird location. I'm like, I could run up and get Lumberjack, or I could. Yeah, well, it's like, oh, it's kind of difficult to get the things from where I am because of my starting location. Although I could have used the Hylia portal, I guess. So forgot about that. So then I decided to climb the mountain. Couldn't beat anything. So figured that was a cache of items I could take in with a mirror and mitts. It's all right.
That's a good point. Like I never thought about using the portal after Zora. I would have been pretty nice to just run out and go to like school's boss for me after that. But I really don't know what's faster to save and quit from there and go from Dark Sank, or to actually run out and use the portal. I'm not sure.
Oh well. Well, I had to do the separate trip to clean up Skull Woods. Did all the boots checks, so it wasn't quite that.
But yeah, early on, I was really feeling the Moon Pearl on Moth. Were you?
I mean, I was feeling the gloves on Moth. I skipped the middle
Oh.
chest.
Ah, right.
See.
That's usually my trademark in Inverted, but this time it was almost guaranteed to have an item, so I just went there and lucked out, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I was already in the mummy room, and I'm like, I don't want to get out of here. I'm just gonna leave with bombs.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do that room first. Things might go wrong. Don't like things going wrong.
You and me both.
Oh, hopefully you guys will get a well. You're guaranteed not to get Ambrosia next time, right?
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So there's something to look forward to for that. And
it's probably gonna be McBoss, to be honest. With
Prefer-
how the decks looked, I think we had 3 cards that had McBoss. Yeah.
you
It's
had 2
almost as
cards.
likely to get McBoss as to get any other mode.
But you had 2 cards going in for standard boots, and yet here we are
Here we are.
with Ambrosia. So
Oh,
It was just one Ambrosia card, right?
it was
And then
just
you were
yes,
okay.
correct, one Ambrosia card.
well, it's
Yep.
not like there were a lot of cards, to be fair.
Fair.
Uh,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The odds were higher than usual.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll take McBoss because if I'm gonna go out, I want to go out on a meme seed. It's pretty memes mode.
It definitely has a very high chance of a surprise Trinex somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well,
What do you think about a surprise Trinex, Jim?
I will never have that happen to me again.
Ah. By finding the ice rod before finding said Trinex, right?
Sure.
Suddenly we're gonna get like Mystery PogChamp's settings, right? Like Trinex upstairs all the time or something like that. I don't know if they can
Yeah,
force
ju-
it that way, but it would be pretty funny.
And
Yeah,
Andy
like,
might bring in
I
one.
figured out a
Kickstarter
strat to deal with that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess certainly no rush because this is the second round, the round of 32, so you guys I think
Yep.
have plenty of time to go schedule your next races. But any particular thoughts maybe or anything to look forward to? Or I'm like sounds like Kappa is interested in MC Boss Shuffle. Anything for you, Humbugh?
I want fad keys. That's
Really? Okay.
yes, that's what I feel like that's the most me mode in the not meme me
Yes.
mode in the tournament, and I feel like that is where I have the most chance. I think so. I want fad keys. Also, it's the one I enjoy the most. So sorry,
Okay,
Jen.
alright, okay,
Casper.
yeah.
No, fad keys. Yes.
Of what it's worth, the escape is very frustrating without a sword and boot.
Yes.
So I sort of get you.
Yeah, good.
You gotta hit that 10%, you know?
Yep. Oh, the 10%.
Yeah, just hit the 10% like with your Ambrosia mode.
Yeah,
this
bro,
time.
just exactly. Yeah, if you can do it once, you can do it at least one more time in the next 10 chances, right?
Right.
Certainly.
Alright, well, yeah, any other thoughts, guys? Maybe before we wrap this up?
No, just a huge thanks to everyone involved with the restream, both you comms and trackers and hosts. It's always fun. And GG again, Kappa. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about game 2.
GG Humbug. Thank you all for the production.
Yeah, this was a really fun race, despite it being Ambrosia for the mode. I think it was actually quite entertaining. So thank you guys so much, and definitely looking forward to game 2. I also want to thank our tracker, Kif. Did an awesome job basically keeping track of everything. Even when things were a bit chaotic, items were coming at us left and right. He was certainly very on top of things, so thank you. Jem, this was a ton of fun. Thank you so much.
Yes, same for me. Thanks for commentating with me.
Yeah, this was
thanks.
definitely looking forward to the next time. Maybe we'll get a better mode. We just have to.
I'm looking forward to my course.
Yeah. Better, I guess, is always relative. Yes, that is correct.
The good thing about commentating McBoss is that you don't play McBoss.
True. Because someone else can go through the experience while we can just get the popcorn. All right, yeah. So I think in terms of basically on the schedule today, looks like in about 10-20 minutes, it's going to be 2C versus NEP. There is no restream for that, at least for SG though. On SG3, there is one more race on the docket. Matt798 versus Tyler Salt. That is on SpeedGaming 3 in about an hour. So that is it's a game 3. So definitely is an elimination match. Should be quite exciting. A couple more matches I think sometime on for Sunday as well, but those don't have channels yet. So TBD on those. But until then, have a rest of a great other Saturday and weekend.